Hi, everyone. This is Jessica with Whispers of Grace Healing. I am here to do an educational piece. Okay, so I know that this was totally led by Spirit. Had to think about how I wanted to do this. And I just want to go ahead and say that if anyone needs information, like has questions that they want answered or wants my opinion on, I will start doing these videos because I feel like this is very, very important, y'all. So, hey, Melissa, I actually, and I'm not going to go too into it of how this all came about, but um, so basically, I have a childhood friend who posted, a meme. But what really got me, hey, Danny, hey, Dewey, but what caught me was that she said she felt so intensely about certain things. So, of course, when you feel intensity, like in intensity, I can't even speak, because this kind of had me rattled. And it wasn't necessarily her, it was the response of someone else. So I said, the beautiful, bittersweet, uh, you know, part of being an empath, right? Like a lot of us hear about being empaths. And she immediately resonated with what I said, but she had someone else jump on and basically told her, I don't think you're an empath. I think you're an intuitive. Reach out to me, right? So I felt like there was kind of this, and I didn't want to get into it with her because I already felt like this person was kind of defensive, and I'm not about to start an argument over, an empath or whatever. But my whole point was, who are you to say that someone does or does not have an ability, right? So you always hear me say, listen to your intuition, take what resonates, leave what does not. But does anyone, and this goes for, right, okay, so this goes back to even like the whole twin thing, and I'm going to make another video on that too, because I have a lot of people asking questions. Listen, it does not matter what the subject is. No one can tell you, is this real? Is this not? Is this your experience? Is this not? So please listen, the way that I looked at it, because I tapped in, I said, Lord, what do you want me to do in this situation? Educate, 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 educate. So I decided to make a video. What is an empath? What is an intuitive? What the two mean together, right? How these two can actually collaborate in a sense. You don't just have to be an empath or just be an intuitive. There are many people or light workers out here that hold many different abilities, y'all. So it's not you're either this or you're either that. Don't let anyone tell you who or what you are. Okay, let me make that very clear. So what I wanted to do was present y'all with facts, right? What does it mean to be an empath or to have empathy? What does it mean to be an intuitive or to have intuition? And what are the signs? What are the synchronicities that happen? And I can tell you, and I pulled from a couple different places. I pulled from, Google Dictionary. I pulled from a couple different websites of what actually happens. And I can tell you that not only from their perspective, but from mine, I have personally experienced almost every single one of these. So when you hear the information at hand, use your intuition, use what resonates with you, and take it for what it's worth. You do not have to, break it all down and question yourself. You are going to feel it as truth, right? That's my thing. That is my thing. I feel that empathy being an empath and having intuition do go hand in hand. So that's why it kind of rubbed me the wrong way, because she didn't even ask any questions. And it's not like I was just saying like, oh, well, you're this. I was speaking for myself, because I know that as an empath, I feel so deeply on so many different levels. So, and then with my intuition and being an empath, I'm able to use both in my everyday life to step more into my purpose. So, exactly, Dewey, they are both feelings. And that's what kind of threw me off. So, I'm not going to go too much into that, but I just want to make a piece where this information is at hand for anyone who is interested. When I go down the list and explain everything, I want you to really take the information in and make that judgment for yourself, y'all. So, okay, enough about that. Now, we are going to start with being an empath. What is an empath? So, according to the dictionary, it is a person with the ability to apprehend the mental or emotional state of another individual. And, some of the things that I did write down, and I'm just going to tell y'all. Okay, so the first time that I realized that I was an empath, okay, I was in a very and I was always very sensitive to other people, always. Didn't understand what it meant. If I had a friend that was going through a really hard time, my heart hurt for them. If someone was going through a really happy time in their life, I felt super excited and my heart would pound for them. If someone was struggling and they said, I'm okay, I knew they weren't, right? And these are things, hey, Christina, these are things that an empath can do because we can feel the underlying emotions and the vibrational frequency at what people are underneath the surface. So having empathy, and sorry, going back to the empath, I knew that when it got to the point, I was managing a salon for 2 years, I was working there for 6, and it got to the point where they started letting these people in that were not of high vibration, y'all. Like, let's just face it, we run into this on a daily occurrence. Drug addiction, just bad attitude, jealousy, control, whatever the case may be. And I remember always wanting to try and keep my vibration high and like going in with a positive attitude. And as soon as these people walked in the door, I felt drained. A lot of my clients would come in and be like, oh, I'm having such a terrible week or a terrible month, blah, blah, blah. And they would lay all their stuff out on me. And all of a sudden they're like, oh, well, I feel better. Now I feel drained, right? So I ended up having to go in search of help with healing crystals. And that's where she led me on to being an empath. You are absorbing other people's energy and emotions. Okay. So you'll find a lot of therapists or empaths. You'll find that a lot of people like, okay, even music, poetry, these kind of things, you will feel the words, you will feel the intensity. That is part of being an empath, where you just understand what is happening because you are tapping into that vibrational frequency. Okay. So being empathetic, having empathy, right? The ability to understand and share the feelings of another, right? So say that, you know, and again, you could just be that person, like, even if, okay, like me, when I was growing up, I didn't have my shit together. I had no idea how to take my own advice, but yet everyone came to me for help, for understanding, to vent and talk it out because I took all their shit without protecting myself. Right. So you could just be someone who is easily relatable. Some people are just going to be naturally drawn towards you. Some people are going to be naturally repelled. It all depends on where you are vibrationally. So, how do you know you're an empath? Okay. And these are some of the things that I wrote down and I've even already talked about. So empaths are highly sensitive to the emotions of those around them, to the point of these feelings, of the feelings those emotions themselves. Okay. So if you have someone who is, like I said, in a really low place, they're depressed, they're anxious, they're jealous, they're hating life, and you hang around them and you let them work it out, right? You're letting them talk. They're spreading their energy, they're getting it out, and all of a sudden they feel better, you feel low, right? That is you taking on their energy. That is part of being an empath. You feel their emotions, you feel their release. Okay. So you can actually, whether they say they're okay or not, and how many of you have run into people, hey, how's your day? Oh, I'm okay. No, 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 you're not, right? And it's that knowing because you sense it, you know it. There's this feeling of energy that is being transmuted between you. Hey, Cynthia. That is letting you know where these people are emotionally. Okay. So then we also have, you can feel physical pain too. So people that you're super connected with, some people have, past lives together. Some people are best friends, mothers, daughters, whatever the case may be. Some people can actually, like myself, feel physical pain, okay, without any explanation. And this is how you can tell the difference, right? If you have no reason, say you've been at a high frequency all damn day, and then all of a sudden you feel depressed, you feel anxious, your body is hurting. This is you picking up someone else's energy, okay? Hey, Jennifer. So you can also sense where this energy is coming from. And that's the beautiful thing. When you use your intuition, you know, without any reason why, you just know. Okay. And this is why the two go hand in hand. You could be a highly sensitive person. You could have been hearing this your entire life. You're too emotional. You're too sensitive. You're too giving. You're too this, right? Highly sensitive people, HSP, are people who can tap into other people's emotions, feelings, physical, mental, emotional. It doesn't matter. Energy is energy, right? But these people are very sensitive to the energy around them. So you go into, a concert, a party, whatever the case may be. And this is, you've heard me talk about this before, walking into a room and having someone you've never met before, you're either instantly drawn to them or you're instantly repelled by them. And you have no idea why. This is because you are an empath and you are picking up on their subtle energies, right? You know the intention behind it, and that's where the intuition part comes in. So they're very close together, y'all. You're so welcome, Jennifer. I'm glad. And I knew, because this has been almost giving me anxiety until I decided to just get on during my break. I don't even care. So but you can walk into certain places. There's a lot of times, okay, like even as simple as going to Walmart, y'all. Walmart. When I was a teenager, when I turned off all my gifts, I loved just going to Walmart and bullshitting around. Okay. I always I didn't care who I was around, whatever the case may be. And then all of a sudden, I got severe anxiety just going to the store, and I could not figure out why. Right. So it was one of those moments where I had to ask myself, where is this energy coming from? Because I know it's not mine. When you have a large mass of people around you, and this is why a lot of empaths are, hermits. They're isolated. They're, what's the word I wanted to say? Oh my gosh, y'all. I can't. My brain's going blank. But where they're more internal than external, right? And I know what y'all know what I'm saying, okay? Exactly, Crystal. Exactly. It gets to the point just doing normal everyday things where large groups of people are around will cause you anxiety because you're picking up all these different things, right? So um you'll see a lot of us kind of staying towards ourselves and choosing very wisely who we're hanging around, because the vibes in the environment matter to us. We have to be around high vibrational people. We have to have people who are not causing drama. uh you're not going to want to be around a bunch of people uh arguing and bickering and talking about and airing everyone's dirty laundry, right? You're going to stay away from that kind of stuff if you're an empath. You might find that those kind of energies drain you, and then you're like, why am I so tired? Why can't I focus? It's because you were picking up on these energies. Watching the news. I used to be someone who watched the news, read the newspaper. I could watch horror movies, whatever the case may be. Now I cannot. Okay. Hey, Terry, I cannot watch these things. I have to be very careful about what I take in. Okay. So whether it be friends, family, places, news, TV shows, whatever, you have to be very careful about what you're allowing in to your environment, into your subconscious, okay? Because these things will drastically affect your energy. Yes. Yeah. And it is like watching crime, okay? Watching crime, you're going to feel, and even though it's all fake, it's TV, you're still picking up the intentions behind it. So you're picking up the pain, you're picking up the heartbreak, you're picking up the sadness, and you can't watch because it affects you on a different level. This is what being an empathetic means. Um, you could find yourself very attracted and highly sensitive around babies, animals, or puppies, like little things. You might have a natural attraction to things that are of newness to this world. Okay. And it's because we have this sensitivity to things that are innocent, right? We have this like want and need to be around things that are innocent because this world is not, right? And it's hard to turn off that emotion, that love for things. And so again, physical illnesses, you could even and this goes towards the intuition too. You could start picking up physical illnesses from other people and not realizing that you are carrying energy that does not belong to you. Okay. So if you've never had neck problems, but you hung around someone who's having neck surgery in a month, and then all of a sudden you go home and you got a crick in your neck for 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? This is that kind of energy. This is the energy that you are picking up and you're not realizing it. You could be overwhelmed in very intimate relationships. Sharing your energy with other people in an intimate manner can be very overwhelming for you. To be vulnerable, to know what your person is feeling at any given moment. I've actually had a therapist tell me, you cannot read your significant other all day. I'm like, I don't know how to turn that off. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm always tapping in. I'm always tapped in. You could know someone is a walking damn lie detector. How many of you have been like, I know what's coming out of their mouth is not real. It's not true, right? And you I mean, I've said this about myself for a long time, that I am a walking lie detector, and I will not allow anyone to make me question that ever again. Because if I feel that what is coming out of your mouth is not truth, no matter how much you try to convince me that it is, I know, because I can feel the energy underneath the surface. I know what your core intentions are. You could be also a great leader. Some of you could be managerial. Some of you could be owners. Some of you could be entrepreneurs. A lot of you working for other people can get very restless and upset when leaders do not take the compassion for their people, for their team, right? So if you are in a business where, you know, your team is working, and there's no appreciation for that, then you are going to get restless and irritated with the leaders because they are not taking their team seriously, which is the foundation for business. And it's because you are a natural leader. You know how to get things done. You know how to appreciate and work with the people who are there by your side, because you are a team. You are not above anyone else. You understand where everyone plays their part within the business. Hey, Isabel, how are you doing, my love? And also, people could just say that you have a naturally calming effect about you. I've heard that more than once. That I don't know how you do it, but I just instantly feel better when I talk to you or when I'm within your presence, right? You could be a natural helper, like always wanting to help. You can't see someone suffer and not do something about it. You cannot just walk by, right? And it's because you are a natural healer. A lot of empaths are going to, like I said, psychologists, therapists, nurses, whatever it is, because you know how to make people feel good, especially in low moments, right? I know, girl, me too. So, um, exactly. All right. So that is some stuff on being an empath. If any of that makes sense to you, then you are more than likely an empath. Don't let anyone take that from you or tell you. Use your intuition, and we are going to get on that, of how to discern, to take everything outside of it for a minute and just feel into each one of those categories. If it makes sense to you, then just know that that is what is happening and use it wisely. Sometimes it's just as easy as setting an intention before your day and after. So if you know that you are in customer service or working with the public, or you're dealing with people who are of low vibration in your life, set your intention that you do not pick up other people's energy, that you can hold space for these people, but you are not responsible for their energy. You hear me? So you can dry brush. Okay. I do this after I deal with very toxic, like over heightened people. If I feel that, I need to step in, I will. If not, then if I'm in contact with them, I will simply brush their energy off with the intention that I'm releasing their energy, that it cannot affect me any longer. You can go to bed and tell your guides and your spirit guides, Lord, I release the energy that does not belong to me today. Okay. I allow myself to rest peacefully, knowing that I did what I needed to do in order to hold space for those who needed it. But I release their energy because it does not serve me. Right. So, not a coincidence, Stacy, not a coincidence. I knew that this needed to be talked about. So, what does it mean to be intuitive? Okay. By definition, it says using or based on what one feels, again, feels to be true without conscious reasoning. Instinctive intuition. the ability to understand something immediately without the need for conscious reasoning. Again, this goes back to being a natural lie detector, okay? This goes back to knowing truth. Like, someone can tell you one thing and your intuition is like, oh, hell nah, that does not make sense. My body is not agreeing with that. It's because your intuition can feel the underlying motive of that person. And again, that goes to empathy. You are feeling someone else's true emotion, right? So it's like, okay, so have you ever found yourself in an instance where you're, okay, again, knowing when someone is right or wrong for you or for your friend? Listen, my best friend, when she met her baby daddy, well, now, whatever, the first night she met him, I was like, I don't know what it is. And most of the time we're like, I don't know why, but, right? And a lot of us have done this. I don't know why I feel this, but this is what I'm feeling. And most of the time, after a while, it ends up with, I told you so, which isn't always a good thing. That was definitely egoic Jess way back when. But my point is that we all have a gut instinct. All people have basic intuition. Whether we listen and follow it is another story, okay? Some people are more tapped in than others, but we all have a basic gut instinct that says, this is right, this is wrong, this feels good, this doesn't feel good. So whether you listen to it or not, everyone has a gut instinct. Knowing how to use it does make you a stronger intuitive, but it is knowing something without conscious reasoning. You don't have to have, okay, again, proof. For those of you who have been in toxic relationships, you knew something was up, right? You knew. You didn't have proof. You didn't need proof because your intuition was picking up on subtle frequencies from the other person, giving you the information that you needed without proof being needed. Okay, so take that however it resonates. You can use that in different scenarios throughout your entire life. If you know something without having conscious reasoning or needing proof, that is your intuition telling you something is up. Okay, and it's not so much up here, it's coming from your gut, right? Your gut is telling you something is off here, okay? Or something is right. And that's the beautiful thing. We need to be able to listen to our intuition to be able to step into purpose, to use our abilities wisely. So this actually, some of the things that I wrote down did come from Mind, Body, Green. I'm going to give them props, okay? So some of the things that come with being an intuitive, you pick up on everyone's emotions. Again, empathy, right? So they kind of go hand in hand. Intuition and being an intuitive does have other things that empathy does not, but they both balance each other out because they're both going on feelings, y'all. Okay. So when you pick up on everyone's emotions, and again, this goes back to being in crowded places, feeling overwhelmed, getting anxiety, these kind of things. You could be around someone that has vibrational shifts all the time and you don't know why your life feels chaotic. It's because you are picking up on their energy, and that is part of the empathy of you accepting it as your own. Okay. So you could naturally know how people are feeling that day without them even telling you. And it's because your intuition already knows. You could be a vivid dreamer. There are a lot of intuitives that are clairvoyant and their third eye is very active. A lot of light workers are. So you could have very vivid dreams, daydreams, visions, whatever it is. These are things that are going to pop up for you. And it's like you can have your eyes open or closed and you see things. You see scenarios being played out, okay? This is part of being an intuitive, and it's part of the package. Um, you are able to be discerning, okay? You see past the exterior to red flags and knowing the true intentions. So again, this goes back to, you walk up to Joe Schmo, your friends, oh, let me introduce you to my new boyfriend. You know, this is John, right? John Smith. And you're like, hi, nice to meet you. You shake their hand, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, ooh, that don't feel right. There's something not energetically right about this person. Or you feel that they are, and then you have a few conversations and those red flags come up, like, well, I don't know if that necessarily aligns with what is best for my friend, right? I know my friend wants this, but that doesn't seem right. Or if you find someone who is a convincer, right? Someone to convince you that they are worthy. And in reality, you're seeing past all these things. That is your intuition telling you there are red flags, there's something not right, and you need to listen to it. Mm. Goodness gracious. Okay. So you could be instantly drawn to someone without understanding why. And again, it's the people, and you'll also see this too with with intuitives, psychics, empaths, intuitives, whatever you want to call it, labels are labels, but you will find that once you start listening to your intuition more and you start trusting this thing, and whether you are or you're not, you will find that people of this same frequency or of the same lifestyle will be naturally drawn to you. Oh my gosh. And see, this is what happens. I have not, oh gosh. Okay, so they're wanting me to bring up the numbness, right? So a lot of uh intuitives, empaths, light workers, whatever you want to call it, okay? A lot of us will have addiction issues. A lot of us will have problems with smoking, drinking, drugs, whatever the case may be, because we are not wanting to step into purpose. Okay. And so, therefore, we numb all the emotions that we pick up from other people, or why we feel disconnected from our life, or why, some people will just say, like, you're different, you're eccentric, you're this, you're that, you don't fit into normal society. That is because you are an intuitive and you are meant to blaze your own trail, y'all. Okay, you're not meant to follow the sheeple, as Danny says. So know that a lot of intuitives will turn to things that will numb the experience, right? And that's what I went through in my early, like, late teen years, where it is. And especially growing up. I mean, I'm okay now not fitting in because I know my purpose in this world. But when I was growing up, I always felt different. I never felt like I fit in. And I was considered a floater. I went to the people who were lost and broken and misunderstood, the people who needed help. Like, my mom used to tell me all the time, you are a magnet for broken people, because I am a healer. Because I am a healer, and I needed to be in those people's lives for however long to help them see that they are not alone in this world, right? So, but yeah, be very aware of that. And whether you do it now or did it then, there's a lot of us that go through these periods of when we don't understand our abilities, where we don't accept our abilities, and we end up turning it off because we don't know how to properly manage or use it to our benefit. So we end up numbing it because we're listening to sheeple. Okay. So, um, okay. Thoughts drop in to your mind from out of nowhere, right? So there's a lot of times where you could be thinking about someone and it's like, you might not have thought about this person for a long time, and all of a sudden you think about them and you're like, man, I need to give them a call. And then 5 minutes later, they're calling, right? Things like that. You could be tapping into people who are thinking about you. You could be getting downloads from like things that you need to do or want to do, and it's just out of thin air. Like, these things come out of nowhere for a reason, because your intuition is telling you what needs to happen next. Okay. You might pick up messages from inanimate objects. So you hold your grandmother's necklace and it's like you can feel her standing right next to you. Or you can hold a picture and not even look at it, but you know what's going on in that picture. It's this download of information that your body is picking up, okay? You could also suffer from chronic illnesses, and there's no reason or explanation why. Okay. Now, I have been saying this for a long time because, listen, I've been there too. I've been having a lot of health issues the majority of my life, whether it be depression, anxiety, suicidal tendencies, heart problems, muscle malfunctions. I mean, I had it all by the time I was before 22, right? I have been suffering. And then even 26, I had a hysterectomy because of endometriosis. No one knew why. No one could give me an answer of why my body was not working properly. And it was because I was refusing to step into my purpose, right? I was holding on to all these things that did not serve me anymore, whether it was relationships, patterns, self-belief, a lack of self-love and understanding. All of these things play an energetic frequency in our body and stop us from functioning properly. So if you suffer from a lot of these things and there's no explanation why, okay, a lot of it is because you are not stepping into purpose, you are not listening to your intuition, and you are not releasing the things that need to be released. Okay, again, being diagnosed with psychiatric problems or disorders. I have personally been misdiagnosed with bipolar. I can tell you I haven't been on any medicine in a decade. And I'm fine. It's because I stepped into my purpose. I started releasing the things. I started believing in myself. I started doing the work, right? It took a lot of work though. I was so messed up back then, and I have no clue how I even got through that, but I did. And it got me to this point where I can look at all my beautiful people and say, you are not the only one suffering. Okay, you can and will get through this. You don't have to stay in misery. You don't have to accept this as your fate. Okay. And yeah, and there's so much that goes into it, but these are the basic fundamentals, the basic signs, right? And synchronicities might stalk you, right? So you might see repeating numbers. You might see certain birds or animals that just flock to you. You might have certain people, like patterns, all these things that just keep coming up for you and you don't know why. A lot of us do not pay attention, but a lot of us are waking up, y'all. There are a lot of people that are waking up to what the universe has to offer and the signs that they are sending us to say, this is the path you need to take. It all depends on if you are willing to accept those messages and take inspired action, having faith and doing the necessary work to achieve those goals. It's all about your experience. It's all about your truth. What do you want to happen with your life? You are the creator of your reality. So make sure that you are tuning in, listen up, do the work, and don't allow anyone, please do not allow anyone, whether they say they're a light worker, because listen, and I'm not talking about this specific person because I do not know her. I'm not going to judge, but there are a lot of people out here in this community who are not real, who do not care about the well-being. They are more about being right and getting money than doing what is right for the common good of all. And that is why I am here to do the right thing by giving you the information that is needed in order to make that decision for yourself. Are you willing to accept it? Are you willing to believe it? Because there are a lot of us that are coming into this awakening that don't know anything about our abilities. And no one should be able to tell us what we are or what we are not. Whether we're intuitive, whether we're psychic, whether we're mediums, it does not matter. What a good light worker is going to do is help you figure it out. Okay? We will guide you, but we are not here to give you the answers. And that's what a good, godly person will do. So, with that being said, I don't even know what time it is, y'all. What time is it? Okay, so I do have to get going. I hope that y'all enjoy this video. If you know someone who needs to see this, please send it their way. I hope that you get the information that you need and the support that you need. If anyone needs or has any questions, please let me know, because this is something that I want to start doing. This is something that I feel needs to be done, and Spirit is definitely leading me to it. So if there's anything that you would like to know about, more information, if you just want my personal experience on these things, let me know and I will start making these videos. Anyone who wants to help support this channel to keep this going, you can either email me at whispersofgrace1016@gmail.com for a personal session, or you can donate with the PayPal link down below. And this helps it move, y'all. This is what helps this channel keep going. Make sure that y'all like, share, subscribe, drop me a comment if you're catching the replay. Let me know how this resonates with you. And I wish you all the best of luck in your journey. And even if you are not sure and you need help, I am here to help you. Okay. So I wish y'all the best of luck on your journey. I hope that you follow your hearts and your intuition, and do not be afraid to be sensitive people, because sensitive people like us, yes, we can feel a lot of pain, but boy, can we feel that joy. Can we feel that euphoria, because we listen to our emotions and we feel deeply. And that is a beautiful thing. There is always a balance, my friends. So do what you do, love with your heart wide open, and be true to yourself. Much love, my friends. I'll see you soon. Bye.